Absolutely happiness.
I
need my
know it
piece
was
of happiness.
Okay, and why happiness?
Because if I'm not happy, nobody gonna be happy.
How about you?
I would say my happiness. Because if I'm not happy, then I can't perform my duty. So.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So let me ask both of you ladies a question. And do you agree to that? If you're not happy, you can't perform your duty?
Yeah.
So both of you ladies work. You're a nurse.
Yes.
And what do you do?
Yeah, data entry.
Data entry. Are you always happy at your job?
Yeah, for the most part.
Always happy.
Yeah. Well.
But yeah.
You love your job?
She
It's
like
alright.
a DJ
It's
scratching
good.
right now.
So you have a good day at work every day?
Like a fair amount.
Okay, so there's
Yeah.
days at work when you're not happy.
Yeah.
And you a nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 95%. I'm coming up in your joy. Hey, good morning. Hey, how you doing?
So you be having good days every day at
Yes,
work?
stuff if the big boss, come and say something. I'm like, all right,
Okay.
that's my day.
But there are days
Yes.
when you're not happy.
Yes.
And on those days when you're working and you're not happy, do you still continue to do your duty?
Yes.
Ah, you see
where we
that?
getting
You see
at?
that, right? So if you're at a job and you're unhappy, but you still maintain your duties and doing them, because if you weren't doing your duties, they would be like, yeah, what's going on? You're out of here. But in a relationship, you're saying, well, if I'm unhappy, I'm incapable of doing my duties. Or if I'm unhappy, then everybody is unhappy. So let me ask you this. If you're working and you're a nurse, like you said, when you are unhappy, are other people unhappy too?
No.
Or do you control your emotions and don't pour it on other people?
I control it.
So if you can self-regulate your own emotions at your job, why can't you do it in a relationship?
Because I'm free. I'm not getting paid for this.
Oh, so now it reduces down to money. It reduces down to income. So you only sacrifice your happiness for your duties when finances are involved. So the only way that you can sacrifice your happiness for your duties in a relationship, what, the man would have to pay you an allowance?
No, I think it's a difference.
Okay, explain.
Because I gotta work for these people. I gotta go to work. I have to get up, even if I have a man or not. I gotta go do a job. With a man, I'm gonna do it. It's just not gonna be like the best.
And that's why men cheat, because we're in the relationship giving our all, and we know that if we don't give our all in that relationship, you're gonna say we're slacking, we need to step it up, and if we don't, you're gonna leave. So how is that fair? Like, the relationship is a two-way street. It ain't just about your happiness, it's about our happiness as well. So like, how would you feel if the man, didn't want to pay the bills every month because he ain't happy? Now what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like what if the man was like, I'm not feeling it today. How about rent is on you this month?
Because I'm not happy.
The mortgage is on you this month because
I'm not happy.
How would that make you feel?
I would feel something like wait, I gotta work extra hard. Like, no.
Exactly. We would feel some kind of way if you're not doing your duties in a relationship because you ain't happy today.
Yeah, what he's just saying, he's basically just reversing it back. Like, if you are using your emotional state to dictate terms in a relationship because you're unhappy, the man can do the same thing and you wouldn't like it. So why would we like it if you do it? But fair enough. I think she gets it. But she ain't changing. That's just how she gonna listen. She gonna pull a sucker that's gonna accept it. It's gonna be a dude that's gonna accept it, but you're not gonna like him though.
I'm going to make sure everything's done, but I'm going to be happy doing it as long as you're doing your job and you're making sure everything is done in the home also.
Fair enough. Dane sending in $5. Appreciate you, Dane. He says, ladies, if overturning Roe meant men were controlling women's bodies, why are so many of y'all still fat? And why aren't our houses cleaner?
I disagree with the correlation and
Okay.
the logic. I want to clarify that.
Got it.
But if we are going down this rabbit hole, I would say it's because the lack of autonomy over oneself. So that would contribute a woman to have like more mental stress and stress in general. So they may not take care of themselves or their house as much as they should.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that the lack of autonomy that women have would correlate to them have no stress, where then that will correlate to them not, cleaning and taking care of their body and things of that sort.
Yes.
Then my question for you would be, do women have to sign up for selective service, or do men have to sign up for selective service?
I'm pretty sure they're trying to push for women to be drafted as well.
No, they're not trying to push for that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's only men.
We'll see.
So
to be determined, but
no, that's not to be determined.
I think that's like a lot of times, especially from what I've seen,
like dead in ground.
The correlations that you guys kind of bring together they don't always make sense to me, and they're not always fair. They're not always equal. So,
like
going to war versus bodily autonomy.
No, it is
apples to oranges.
Because autonomy will be choice. Now, if a man is drafted, does he have a choice with his body?
No.
So that correlates perfectly to, men have to sign up for the draft and women don't, which then we give up our autonomy and you don't have to give up your autonomy. So if it's the case that men have to sign up for a draft using your own logic, this would correlate to, if men are lacking autonomy, shouldn't we be in an emotional state and lacking at doing our duties?
That's why you guys have higher
what?
rates.
No, that's not why we have higher self-deletion rates.
Yeah.
We have higher self-deletion rates because men are better at self-deletion. Women actually attempt self-deletion at a higher rate than men. We just finish the job because we're better at everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much just better. So, but using your logic, we would have to say that if you're consistent with it, and if we pin that on men, men have to sign up for the draft. We lose a degree of our autonomy. So this should put men in an emotional state to not do their duties. But men still do their duties.
I think men have a higher threshold for emotional regulation. So
I would agree.
That can contribute to that.
But this still wouldn't negate the fact that women losing autonomy and then slacking on their job. You get what I'm saying? So why is it the case that women have less autonomy under your view?
Correct.
Well, they have less autonomy, so then, it's putting them in a very emotional state.
Mm-hmm.
But would you say that women are more emotionally intelligent than men?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if women are more emotionally intelligent than men, but men have a higher capacity to deal with emotions, that wouldn't correlate if women are more emotionally intelligent men. Because you would say that the person that is emotional intelligent, they can regulate their own emotions.
Right.
You already conceded to that would be men.
Yeah.
So how are women more emotionally intelligent than men?
I think that there's more, I'm kind of visualizing it. There's more categories of emotional intelligence and things that they have more emotional intelligence in.
Okay.
But the threshold is less just because maybe there's more internal, with periods and things like that. There's more hormonal.
And when you mean intelligence, what do you mean by that? Do you mean empathy? What do you mean?
More so empathy than anything else.
And
empathy and the ability to put yourself in
someone else's shoes.
Yeah, and stick up for people and stick up for what's right.
But weren't you the one that said that you think that a man being in a platonic relationship with a woman is beneficial? That's doable?
Yes.
But if you think, the only reason why you think, we kind of got into this before, but I'm trying to help you put the pieces to the puzzle together. The only reason why you thought it was beneficial before because you were only viewing it from the woman's lens.
Correct.
But when I tilt the glass over here to the man's lens, you've seen that, the man is not really getting any benefit. It isn't an equal value exchange if the man is in a platonic relationship with the woman, because she's getting time, attention, and resources, a patriarch, masculine energy. He's not getting anything, but he's still wanting sex, and he can't even get that. So if you were empathetic, you would have the ability to put yourself in the man's shoes, and you would say that men and women being in platonic relationships really cannot exist.
I'm seeing that as I get older. And I think when you said about childhood friends, it's more easy to maintain a platonic friendship when you're younger versus when you start getting older. So I'm getting
'Kay.
to understand the male perspective, but I am a woman, so.
Okay. So I'll say this. Well, I'm not going to give you any clues here. When it comes to this question here, overturning Roe v. Wade meant we're controlling women's bodies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that is true, but you do believe that is true.
Yeah. It's a regulation set by the law, set by legislators to penalize or criminalize the ability for a woman to have autonomy over her body and have an abortion.
Let's just be clear.
But do you know that, real
Right.
quick, and do you know that, and I'm going to let you go in a second. Do you know that even though Roe v. Wade was overturned, abortion is still legal in all 50 states?
Yeah.
It's not
and abortions
illegal.
are going to happen
It's just the term.
regardless if
The
it's
states have different
legalized.
term limits. So women still have choice in all of the states. It's just, some states is 6-8 weeks. Other states you got a longer term, 24, 32 weeks, something like that.
Right.
So the autonomy, the truth be told is you didn't lose any autonomy. You still got the same choice. It's just they yielded that authority. It used to be in the federal.
timeline.
They yielded that to the states, the authority to the states. So the states get to make that final decision on the timeline.
Okay.
But go ahead, Ease. You want to say something?
Well, I was just saying, women have control over their bodies. Y'all have full autonomy over your bodies. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just want to be able to kill babies, and not everybody agrees with that shit. Point blank, period. Because you women do whatever you want with your bodies now. A lot of y'all got tattoos. A lot of y'all sleep with whoever you want to sleep with. But as soon as you guys become irresponsible, you guys don't want to face your own. You guys want to face your own accountabilities, and most women don't like facing or dealing with their accountability. So that's why I think a lot of you guys disagree with Roe v. Wade. And so if you really think about it, that's just really the bottom line to it. Honestly, in my opinion,
I believe in the separation of church and state. And I think that's the issue a lot of times when we have these conversations, is that religion and faith plays a big part into it. And
take
it's
it out.
not.
Take religion and faith out. Let's just pretend God doesn't exist. It's a human. Everybody has the right to live because nobody was asked to be born. You know what I mean? So now you're telling me that unborn child has to die because you chose to be irresponsible.
What's better, an aborted fetus or a child that grows up knowing that it was never wanted, it was never loved, it's in the system, it's higher chances and likelihood of abuse. And
that's why
all
we have
sorts of
adoption. There's a lot of there's a good amount of women that can't conceive.
Why is there so many people, and why is the number of children in the foster care system growing?
So they're better
and
off
growing?
dead, is what you're saying. That's crazy. They're better off dead.
I mean, that's an absolute, and I believe in gray areas and everything has a lot of nuance. So.
But that's basically what you're saying and most women saying. Like, I'd rather them be dead than to have an opportunity at life and make something of themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. You don't got to agree with me, but we can agree to disagree. But in my opinion, kids don't ask to be born. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, I got a question. Scratch everything I said. Let's say you have a kid. You and your kid are hanging off a cliff, right? And the kid's father, you guys are still together, right?
Mm-hmm.
The kid's father can only save one of you guys. You or the kid, who would you want him to save?
The kid. I mean, I don't have children, so
You want him to save the kid, and why would you want him to save the kid?
because I would want the child to live. I would put the child before myself. So
So it goes
but
with
I
the
don't
whole
think that's
abortion thing.
equal, because we're comparing something that's not even born yet with a full-blown person.
Now that's debatable. It's depending on
What stage
who you
and
talk to.
Yeah.
It's still a life at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Whether you believe.
I just think that it's circumstantial and it's individual, and it shouldn't be dictated or governed by the state. I think that should ultimately be up to the
And do you
couple.
know that most abortions is because of just their feelings?
Yeah.
Most women abort their unborn children because they feel like it, not because grape not because now that is it's 1% of cases are rape. It's not because their life is in jeopardy. That's even less than 1%. So most abortions happen, and women commit those abortions because they just feel like it. They feel like murdering that unborn child. And there's over 1 million abortions per year. So we're giving women all of this choice when 50% of what's growing in the womb belongs to the father.
Yeah.
And the father has no say-so.
No, they do. And I think
Wait,
They
that
don't. That's the thing.
No, you think that
don't.
they should, but they don't.
I think
they-
they do. I think that there is.
There's
I'm
nothing
not well-versed.
legalized. Yeah,
Okay.
there's no legal
Like,
structure around
if
it.
a woman was pregnant, she wants to
Okay,
get abortion. She
Yeah.
can get abortion, and she doesn't need the
They
father's
can't
consent at all.
petition For,
No,
He can't do jack squat.
Yeah, he
He can't do
I
jack
don't agree
squat.
Right.
with that. I don't think that's.
And that's dope, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But that's where I'm getting at, because it's like you said, the clip question. You would want the kid
Yeah.
to survive because why? Yeah, I mean the kid deserves to live, and
Yeah.
so that's how I look at it with abortion. Even though people think, oh, it's a fetus, it's not, it doesn't have a heartbeat, doesn't have arms, legs. So what?
Okay, fair enough. So if you like that clip and you want to watch more, click right here. But if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.